The moon, it's bringing life back. It's a mess. The second hand is free, and that's just good for everybody. Hello Internet, it's either Roshi and I'm back with another reaction. This time I'm reacting to 2 short trailers. That's right, we have Ayaka's Tsubaki in Thawing Snow short trailer, and then we'll be moving on to Xiao's Endless Suffering short trailer. So let's get into it.
The Kamisato clan's future. The duties of the Yashiro Commission. My brother should not bear these burdens alone. This belief is what has led me to this duel. Check. When the Tsubaki is in season, I always have the same dream. My mother is with me. And I am at peace. Maybe somewhere deep down inside, the carefree days of family time have not ended for me. But just as flowers wither, I too must awaken from my dream. Kamisato art of Tachijutsu, still like the morning dew, swift like lightning. Something stirs within me, perhaps the echo of a fond dream. But there it stays, day after day. Pushing me to overcome. And tempering my blade. That was the first time I bested brother in a duel. It was also the moment that the Shirasagi Himegimi was born.
It's showtime, Ayaka. The fireworks have started. Everyone's waiting for you. It was your wish to take over this side of things, if I recall.
Sorry, Ayato. We pray to our god. May all our dreams endure forever. Narukami Island, let the festival begin!
That gave me chills. Ooh, okay. Oh, I'm gonna start off by saying that the visuals absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. It's just, it looks so clean. I don't know how else to really describe it. It's very vibrant, like most Genshin teasers and trailers, but of course just very well done here. And although there are some still images, there's still that little bit of tweening. There's a little bit of motion in everything that you're seeing still. And this actually has quite a bit of motion as well, because we have bits and pieces of a choreographed sparring session between Ayaka and her brother Ayato. What else I really like about this is that we actually saw more time with Ayaka and Ayato, how they are together, at least just a little bit more, which is what I was asking for every other time we've seen them. They would mention each other's names, or maybe they'd be with each other in a scene for 10-20 seconds or so without a lot of conversation. But here, there's a lot of talking about Ayato from Ayaka's perspective. Ayato is the older sibling, and in this noble house of theirs, he's pretty much in charge. It's kind of doing everything. He respects his people, he understands their values and what they want, and he's willing to take every job possible to make sure that everyone can live that happy life. And he does so with a smile on his face. I mean, it's good Guy Ayato. Now, Ayaka here, being the younger sibling, normally doesn't really have to do much technically. She could just have the title and leave him in charge. However, she cares about, their people just as much, and her brother, and wants to take some of that responsibility. But in order to do that, she also needs to be trained and competent, which is interesting because usually when you see this stereotype of character, they're sort of forced into that lifestyle because of their family and what's expected of them. And of course, these things are expected of her, but she willingly puts herself into the shoes of a person who not only is supposed to be respected and given responsibility in such a way, but who has earned it. I mean, this trailer is called Tsubaki in Thawing Snow, and it's interesting how even Ayaka references, she talks about flowers, right? We see them right here. And this right here, even flowers wither over time. I must too awaken from my dream. I believe this ties into what I was talking about before. She could live a privileged life. However, she doesn't think that is helpful. So she too must face reality. And the reality is with flowers, comparing the two, is that a flower isn't in bloom all the time. It will eventually die. And that's just the reality of that. Things aren't perfect forever. However, the title of this is called Tsubaki in Thawing Snow. So Tsubaki is a type of flower. It's the flower that we see throughout this. It's the yellow Camilla, I believe. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Where's the shot of it? Yeah, here. I believe these are the flowers, but also thawing snow, which is interesting because you have snow and cold and ice, and that's usually regarded as something that is stagnant, frozen in place, even maybe dead or restrained. Not always the happiest feeling. However, I mean, snow can also be very beautiful too. This makes me feel like spring. Snow melts and things come alive again. And although Ayaka here is talking about how, just like these flowers, my dreams, they have to go away and I have to face reality and do my part. However, in doing so, she herself is the flower in the thawing snow. And because of her attitude and her way of helping people and doing her part, that makes people at peace. That makes people come together. That thaws the snow. It's bringing life back. So that's how I'm interpreting that symbolism there. Going back to this clip here, it's interesting because we see their combat styles as well, where Ayaka clearly uses her sword with both hands and Ayato uses it with one hand. I believe even in their character demos and other things we've seen them in, when they are using their weapons, this style of theirs continues into those as well. I believe Ayato uses only one hand for his blade and Ayaka continues to use two hands. Not a huge thing, but the continuity is pretty cool. But if I did want to go deeper into it, Ayato using one hand because it's more like a confidence thing. He doesn't need both hands to do his part, to fight, to take his position. Could also be considered that for a long time he was doing things on his own. A single hand, one hand on his own by himself, just holding up all the responsibility. Some could say that Ayato's way of using the sword is not correct, but that wouldn't necessarily be true. People can wield a katana with one hand. There are many different styles of fighting, and usually if you do have a spare hand, that's for a second blade. Maybe your main hand wouldn't exactly have a katana, maybe you'd have a wakizashi, and then in your other hand you'd have a tanto, which is more of a dagger. But I believe this shows just how much power Ayato has because he is wielding a longer blade with only one hand. And then he doesn't have anything in his free hand. I think this is a way of showing some kind of confidence and strength, because this would not be an easy thing to do, to be swinging around a longer blade. Not impossible, but not the easiest thing. And the fact that he is able to fight in such a way just shows how strong and how confident he truly is. The hand wielding the blade, confidence and strength. His second hand is free. It's a helping hand. He's there to support, to assist, to take your hand, to help you up. Now, Ayaka wields her blade with two hands. I believe if you were going to learn how to sword fight with a katana, you would probably learn a technique that uses both hands first before you go into any more trickier techniques. This is very standard. There's two hands on it. There is more support, which I think represents Ayaka in a way. She wants to support her brother. She wants to help the people around her. She's going to have a strong stance that allows her to do things to their full effect. And let's be honest here, we have the Ayato and Ayaka clash here in their sparring session where she pulls up a technique, but not only that, she has more stability and more control over her blade than he does in this moment. It is much easier to disarm someone if they don't have as strong of a grip on whatever they're holding as much as you do. So it is cool that Ayaka can actually best her brother in a duel, at least back here. I don't know what things are like today. Maybe they're on par with each other. Maybe he's better. Maybe she's better. Maybe that's not even a thing to really bother considering because they're siblings and they're on the same team here. This is just a sparring match. You know, it's not taken as seriously. I'm sure if Ayato went in with the intention to kill, same thing with Ayaka, if she went in with the intention to kill, who knows how this fight could actually go. It's just sparring, it's not supposed to be super serious. But it is still cool to see that Ayaka is not just a pushover, that she's not always looking up to her brother. I mean, she is out of respect, but there's a sense here that she can come to the conclusion that I can do things on my own. I'm not going to be playing second fiddle my whole life. I can be better. I can be just as good, if not better, when the time comes. And that's just good for everybody. And then this I really like here, where we actually see Ayaka take up some of the responsibility that Ayato used to have. And he kind of does his little jokingly older sibling way of being like, I mean, you wanted this, you sure? You got this? Okay, you do your thing. But she goes and she does it anyway, and it seems like she's a natural. She's been training and preparing herself for this kind of moment to take charge and to take some of that responsibility and to assist him, and is perfectly capable of doing so. So I really do like that this short trailer is exactly as what its title says. I want to actually look at the description for a second here. No matter how splendid the blooming flowers are, there will always come a day when they must face the severe test of winter. Even ice and snow must give way, but the evergreen trees are still standing. When the clouds part, snow melts, that's how one knows that spring has come. I really do think this has a lot to do with personal growth and going through trials and tribulations to become worthy and a helping hand and to make the world a better place. But yeah, Ayaka's the flower that pushed past the harsh winters. She's a realist for sure, but not one that gets bogged down by the negative things of life. She keeps going. She has that determination to actually do something about it. And I have a lot of respect for someone with that kind of character to them. Alright, so that was great. That was awesome. A lot of fun. Love the visuals. The music of that was freaking insane. I got chills at one point where it heated up. I believe it was during the climax of their sparring match. I mean, when that music kicked in, oh my god. Left me with chills throughout the entire rest of it. Oh boy, I can't wait to get into some music reactions. I think I'm going to get into a little bit more of the game itself. I'm going to play it a little more before I start reacting to some music stuff. But I am going to be doing that regardless at some point because I can't stand it. It's so good. Hey there, I couldn't help but notice that you haven't subscribed yet. What's up with that? It's kinda embarrassing. Don't worry, it looks like this. I hope you can find it. Thanks, I appreciate it. Alright, so let's move into the next one. This one is Xiao's Endless Suffering short trailer.
Evil takes on many forms, but always carries a karmic curse. It spawns monsters that lurk in the mountains where the Adepti dwell, preying on the living for decades. It manifests as devastating pestilences, scarring the world for centuries. It is the sworn duty of the Yaksha to purge all evil. But after millennia of bloodshed, karma takes a toll. A moment of complacency, and I too will succumb to the darkness. An instant of negligence, and it will turn me into one of the monsters I swore to purge. After millennia of suffering and endless slaughter, I now see things for what they really are.
You slept the whole day through, you know. Good thing you're awake. You're just in time for the lantern rite.
I carried you here on my back. I'll go get you some medicine now.
Did I scare you? Don't worry, this mask is to scare away monsters. It really works. You don't need to be afraid. Huh? Are you okay? You look tired. Grandpa, give him some rice wine pudding. Well, hello there. Care to join me for a drink on this fine evening? Huh? Oh, you started celebrating already. Any rice wine for me?
Sorry. Tonight, I just want to rest.
Very nice. It's good to take the mask off once in a while, even just for one night.
Once again, very impressed. The music is beautiful. The animation in this one was nuts. The way he's fighting Xiao's fighting style is just so cool. I don't think I've expressed that enough watching his other things. Xiao looks like a character that I definitely want to play with. Like, everything that he does combat-wise is just so quick and snappy with so much force behind it. I can't really say for sure because it probably depends on what kind of build you make with these characters, but I definitely see him as a spear using glass cannon. He's super fast, super strong, and just annihilates everything in his way. Whether or not he could take a punch, I don't know. Probably story-wise. In-game, not really sure. Once again, probably depends on how you build it. I'm talking out of my ass right now. But what I love about this is that I have a little more of an idea of what Xiao is actually going through. I believe there was a reply to one of my comments in an earlier video, but they said that Xiao isn't necessarily a edgy or angsty boy, but more like a war veteran with PTSD. And I see what they mean. At the end of the day, I don't think it matters if you say he's edgy or angsty, because he's a fictional character, and, you know, we're allowed to joke about the things that we like. If not, then developing a sense of humor is great. At the same time, he shouldn't realistically be written off as that, because you can definitely see some torment, some psychological damage that's happened here. We love our characters with their dark backstories and their trauma as much as we love the silly characters. But here, there is truly a struggle that affects Xiao on a daily basis. Not just trauma, but there's an actual pact involved that leads to severe consequences if he doesn't continue to do the actions he does today, which only builds and makes it so that trauma will never, ever go away. Xiao speaks of the Yaksha. Now, I know Yaksha as being a kind of spirit. I don't necessarily know if it's the same exact thing in the world of Genshin. It could be like everyday life things, spirits that are found within nature. It could mean fertility, but it could also be some trickster stuff, or even things with murderous intent. Here I assume some kind of deal was made long ago, or perhaps it was even passed down to him. Not exactly sure how he has obtained this pact. Regardless, Xiao has had this for quite some time. And it's quite an interesting one as well. He has to spend his days destroying demons and the evils of the world. Continuously, relentlessly. The moment he stops for too long or grows bored of it, he too will become the thing that he hates, the thing that he destroys. He too will become a demon. I wonder if that is explained in game a little more as to why that would be a thing in the first place. This Yaksha of his seems to not really be of good intent. It is interesting how it's like,
kill demons!
Which you think would be a good thing. However, to suddenly be punished and become a demon yourself for not being able to deliver properly is a pretty harsh punishment. It's not so much of like, well, we're not going to give you the abilities to do so anymore because you got lazy. It's straight up, no, you will become the thing you've been destroying as punishment. Enjoy all this trauma as it's happening. Messed up, man. Xiao definitely got the short end of the stick for sure. After millennia of bloodshed, the karma takes a toll. I mean, yeah, to be constantly fighting, to be killing, even if it's demons. Maybe there's some other things that he had to do that he's not super proud of. Not only is he haunted by the idea of himself becoming a demon, himself becoming the thing that should also be destroyed someday. There's this weird duality, but it's also a struggle with who he is. He's lived his entire life fighting, it seems. But who are you? What do you like? What's your personality? Are you really just a soldier with no other purpose? I also get the sense that Xiao was tricked into this. Let's watch this back for a second.
It is the sworn duty of the Yaksha to purge all evil. But after millennia of bloodshed, karma takes a toll.
I think our boy Xiao was tricked for sure by this Yaksha. Going off of my own knowledge that Yakshas are spirits and possibly tricksters. And then we have a shot of the moon, which I've learned recently in Genshin is tied to lies and illusions. Xiao is explaining his part of the deal, where he has sworn to destroy, to purge the world of evil. And then you have a shot of the moon. To me, it feels like this was an illusion, that when this deal was made, not everything was actually revealed. That this contract had some really tiny text at the very bottom, that it was in the border of the contract itself that Xiao or whoever started this thing did not get to see properly. And then learn that this Yaksha, you see the flash of the mask, the Yaksha face, that there would be karma involved and it would take a toll on the person who had made this pact. Not actually saying a Yaksha is a devil, but it might as well be in the sense of making a deal with the devil. Xiao here, or other people like Xiao as well, was driven to the point where he was approached and possibly offered power. Maybe Xiao even sought it out to obtain some kind of power to deal with a problem. And that turned into an oath, and then that oath turned into kind of a bribe. Yeah, sure, you get all these powers to deal with the issue that you have right now, but you gotta hold up your end of the bargain and you gotta continue dealing with these issues. Not just your personal ones, but like the world's problems. Do that for quite some time, it starts hurting your mental, and then he gets stuck. It's a mess. And then we get Baizhu and Qiqi, and then later even Venti. And it's really interesting to see all these characters making their cameo appearance in this short trailer. And what I like about that is how the beginning sequence is like a flashback or a dream or visions of Xiao's trauma and him just dealing with this crap in his head. And then you have all these other characters pop up once he's conscious, and it's just interesting storytelling. It's showing other people's perspectives of what is Xiao like in front of others. How do they interact with them? We get to see their personalities quite a bit. Baizhu here in this scene is housing him or has been taking care of him. Maybe he fainted somewhere, maybe he approached for help. Who knows how he got there? Maybe he visits Baizhu normally because he's got these chronic migraines that actually cripple him when he's not doing his job. And Qiqi acting as a little nurse. I think I've heard that Qiqi's here with Baizhu for a reason, because Baizhu is studying like immortality and Qiqi's a zombie, so she's technically still alive when she shouldn't be alive. I know she's not exactly a classic zombie. She's like the Chinese equivalent of a zombie that's being controlled. She's got the tag on her head, all that stuff, yada yada. I understand that, but we have just a interesting mix of characters taking care and sort of dealing with his issues. And then we got Venti here as well, poking fun but also trying to be lighthearted, because unlike Xiao, Venti's not very doom and gloom. Venti kind of just does what he wants. It's good to take the mask off once in a while, even just for one night. This has a double meaning, because one, it's saying to Xiao that, hey, it's okay to relax. You don't have to work every day. Even if it's just one night, even if it's just once in a while, you don't have to worry about that thing that you do. You can chill. And there's another sense of this where he's saying that it's okay to be yourself. And like we talked about before, Xiao seems kind of intimidated by himself or what he's become or possibly becoming. But one thing that I know from an outside perspective is that Xiao is always around in these Lantern Rite festivals, these New Year festivals. Xiao enjoys relaxing during this time just to observe and take in the surroundings. Even partake a little bit. He managed to have some of the rice wine pudding, sit back under a tree and watch the lanterns or view some fireworks. So even if Xiao is constantly working, he does find at least this one moment every year to chill out and just try to enjoy it. He's walking around with this crippling headache, but he's still here like, this is my rest time. This is actually for me. This is his way of holding on to humanity, where he doesn't have to be a creature that just causes bloodshed, that just destroys everything in its path because he has to. This is the one time of the year where he's like, it's okay to be human. But it's nice that another character such as Venti can pick up on something like that. Xiao openly talks to us anyway about how he is a cursed individual, that he himself is a monster, and if he's not a monster now, he will become one. Yet he pushes through and makes himself go to this festival, and lo and behold, we have this little girl approach him when he's in the middle of having one of his episodes. Let's be honest, this little girl has no idea what Xiao is actually going through. But that makes it even better, because this innocence that we're seeing here proves that Xiao has nothing to worry about, at least not yet in this sense. Xiao might think of himself a certain way, but she's saying that you're not a monster, you don't have to be afraid. So although it's just a cutesy moment, it probably is meaningful for Xiao at the very least, or maybe gets him thinking. Anyway, this was beautiful, super cool. Once again, very clean animation, very fluid animation, very pretty animation. The music, as always in these, is killer. And in this one, I specifically liked how we got to see all these cameos from different characters and them acting properly as they would around Xiao. I'm really glad I watched this because it gives me a more insightful perspective of who he is and a better idea of the predicament that he is currently in. And before I end this video, I want to say a quick shout out to all of you that comment down below, that like the video, that share it, that subscribe, because it really means a lot. It not only makes me happy, but also is just super supportive of the channel as a whole. So if you want to continue being part of the community that really helps this channel grow and support it, then keep being awesome. Just a huge thank you to all of you lovely people. Well, that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're hearing me right now, that means you made it to the end of the video. So in the comment section down below, within your message, leave the word spirit, and that way I will know that you are indeed a real one. Thank you so much. Shine on, you crazy diamonds. Later.